And speaking of energy and love, we have another lovely caller standing by.
All right.
Let's go to Montreal, Canada, and welcome Celine to the conversation.
Namaste, Celine. Welcome.
Hi, Sri and Kara.
Hi.
How are
welcome.
you?
We are well. How may we serve you today?
Well, I couldn't get you on the internet. I couldn't listen today, and last week was the same thing. The sound, it comes on, and then you say a few words, and it goes off. So I said, I want to call anyway, so I said, I'll try.
There you go.
So I did. Now I heard the last 15 minutes, so which was very nice.
Well, that's great.
Because I've been missing your show for the past. Pardon me?
We're delighted that you made
can't
that
hear you.
connection.
Well, I missed you for the past 4 weeks on internet, gardening and all that stuff. I was too busy.
Well, that's okay. We're always there
why.
in the archive. So how can we serve you today, Angel?
Yeah. Well, I was just listening, and Shri did answer the question. It was how to be in the present, sort of. Without always being awake, without letting energies interfere with. That's the biggest question in my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I can share with you in the moment, and I know that Sri may want to share something as well, and we can invite James if he'd like. What I'm sensing around you is that your mind is still asking a lot of you, meaning that it's important to recognize that the mind is a guide that keeps us safe in a world of illusion, and your heart is the barometer that allows you to find a steadiness or a peacefulness. And so to stay in the present is to simply see the wonder, the gift. The eyes of the child might be really great for you. They just keep saying, go find a playground and go on the sliding board, get on the swings, and remember yourself in the innocence of everything being new. And that the more you practice that, the easier that's going to become for you. And it really is just that simple. They're saying you've just forgotten how fun it can be. And by bringing that gift back into your life, that's actually going to help you to start staying more in the present in a way that doesn't judge yourself or make you feel like you're not succeeding.
There's a wonderful phrase that we sometimes share with groups, and the phrase is simply this: forgiveness means letting go of all hope of a better past.
I love that phrase.
And I want to apply that to the future also. It's in order to be in the now, it involves looking at the space between the space, breathing the breath between the breath, and just smiling and knowing that all is truly well.
Indeed.
Celine, blessings to you. Thank you for calling. Stay in touch with us. And we've got to run here to line 2.
All right.
We've got another caller standing by, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this name correctly. Is it Gad, who has a question for James Gilliland?
Well, namaste. Welcome, dear one. Did we mess up your name totally?
Hello. No, this is Chad.
Chad. All
okay.
right.
It's
that
a
we can
typo.
do.
That
All
I can
right.
handle.
Well, welcome, Chad. And how can we serve you? How can James serve you today?
Well, I'm just calling. This is kind of a thought that I had when I was in deep meditation, extremely deep meditation, that the reason why we experience any type of grief, any type of heartache, that perception of heartache, is for the profound love that we have for each other that we don't even realize that we have, because we love each other so much through the veil that that's why we experience the grief, is because we love whoever is causing the grief or whatever experience is causing the grief. We want that for them because we love them so much.
Well, that's certainly an aspect of what is happening.
Our heart is connected in ways that our mind has yet to discover. And did you have a question for James as well?
Well, I was just that was kind of the question for James, if that's how he perceives or the perspective he has on things.
Jump in here,
Pretty
James.
much. I'll tell you what my experience here has been. When we do the transpersonal release sessions, we go through and clear past lives and birth trauma, and it's a pretty extensive process. But at the end, people are initiated, and we all have main teacher and guides, and some of our guides are off-world, some are masters. There's different. Everybody's unique. Everybody's different. And when that reunion happens, most people just cry. They sit there and just cry, and if you looked at it from the outside, you go, this is, they're upset, they're crying, but it's not. It's tears of joy.
Yeah.
Whenever like Yeshua and Joseph or some of the other masters come to me, I start getting tears. I get teary-eyed, and it's out of my love for them and missing maybe missing that connection or that depth of love, and just being in their presence, it kind of creates that situation. And sometimes I do. I feel sad that other people don't have that connection, and that they shut those connections out. So I guess it's a combination of a couple of things that happen.
That's absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what happens, is that we have this complexity. We have these human emotions and these human experiences that we believe are real, and they overlay us. And then we touch into our divine truth, which is always there. And so, of course, we release through tears, we release emotionally, we release spiritually, we release oftentimes physical disease and find great healing through this. And that's one of the blessings of tapping into our universal, we call it cosmic life. Our cosmic life regression is when we can allow ourselves the gift of really touching that truth. And then from the tears often comes great joy.
Absolutely. Chad, thanks so much for calling and reminding us that tears are an important rinsing, and that we need to rinse often to keep the channel open.
Indeed.
Well, we did. Tears worth 1,000 years of karma.
Woo, I love that.
There you go.
Because you burned it. You let it go. You don't have to carry it for another 1,000 years.
That's true.
Beautiful. Have a beautiful day. James, one of the things that as I'm tuning into your sharings and the processes that you're running people through, et cetera, is really liberation process, unification of so many layers, and the release of the fractures. That is essential healing. And the piece I wonder about, as I look at the news, as I look at what's going on in our world, is how to stimulate a desire, an increased momentum for this healing in other people. Do you feel that there is a role to play there, or simply work with those who show up in front of you?
Oh, I think there definitely is. And I think, shows like these and things like that are definitely a benefit to the masses, and just holding a frequency or a vibration, which is what we're doing. It affects, a lot of people. I think Ezekiel came in to me once and he said, "You have no idea what's happening on the outskirts of your aura." And we may not be saying anything. We're just holding space or holding the frequency. And I watch people, without saying anything, just sitting next to them, just have a huge breakdown, and it's amazing watching that. It's really a good thing, but all of a sudden they feel that energy and they're in your fields, and things happen. But it's tough now on a world situation. We're in the middle of an intense energy that's coming in, and we're about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks into it. Mm-hmm. And we have about another week of it going on, where there's so much energy coming in that it's putting people in, a lot of process. It's making people really tired and wanting just to sleep, and some people are getting a little irritable or emotional. Yeah. And, it's a good thing that the energy's coming in. It's just amazing. But what I think is that this energy, we help anchor this energy in, and we help other people process this energy when it comes in. But resistance is futile. It's like the earth is
that is
ascending.
So true.
Yeah, resistance is painful.
Exactly.
Unless you're the Borg.
And basically we have to become frequency specific to the earth and where she's going. And I see, they've been talking a lot about the end of tyranny and a lot of these other things that are happening, and mainly it's because that consciousness is not frequency specific to where the Earth is evolving to. That grid is coming down, and there's a new grid taking its place, which is a much more loving, in harmony grid.
Right.
And the people that can't align with that energy are going to come face to face with their stuff and their karma, and everything's going to be accelerated.
Well, and that's what we're seeing on the planet right now. I mean, it's happening, and I love that you're bringing this up, because the reality is you don't have to be awake to it because you're here on the planet. Thereby, you will be affected by it one way or another.
The journey, that we're all on, we are sharing this energy. We're literally swimming within the energy, and the sense we make out of it certainly differs. Our perspectives differ. The one thing that I personally look for is whether or not the joy has been ignited. Because if joy is not ignited, if a person is actually doing battle with their life and their inner and outer worlds, then they're kind of stuck.
Right. But, Sri, I really think what we need to look at, and in addition to that, is here we are on the planet right now. And I love that James is talking about this energy, right? And that, we're about, I felt we were kind of midway through it around the 19th. But the reality is that we do have like another week and a half of this. Globally, look what's happening. We've got a lot of realignment, and some of it is loving and some of it is horrific. How do you reconcile that for people?
Well, it's like the I'm trying to think of the name of that. It'll come to be whenever you add a lot of energy into a system, there's going to be some chaos. It's semantics, basically, is the science behind it. So what happens is that the old form goes into chaos, and then a new form comes out of the chaos. That might be more complex, more beautiful, and of a higher frequency. So each time these huge energy shifts come through, we go through some chaos, and everything comes up, and there's individual karma, there's nation karma, there's old grudges between both individuals and nations, and the energy psychometrized in the land as well is all being pushed up to the surface, and we have to deal with it. But the good news about that too is that we can hold space and channel that peace energy, that love energy, and start cleaning up this other energy. There's techniques to do that, and we can help other people in their transition just by anchoring that energy in and letting that energy flow through us into every situation that we encounter.
Well, this sounds a bit like a blessing and as they say here in Guatemala, a bendición.
A bendición.
And as we're coming to the end of our time together, James, is there anything further that you would like to offer into the energy, the ears, the hearts of our listeners as your bendition?
Well, I think basically right now it's a time where people are going to have to slow down and simplify and to get through these times, these energies. And we have to step back out of social consciousness and probably throw our TVs out the window.
Brilliant.
And get back out into nature and start aligning ourselves with nature and listening to nature and see where she's going, what the land is going to be doing in your neighborhood. And really pay attention to the signs, the animals and everything else going on. But it's so important right now to realign ourselves with nature and start being kind to each other and the planet.
Yes.
I mean, people ask me, what are these ETs have? What's the big revelation, they bring to us, that's going to heal everything? And I said, it's the same thing all the masters, saints, and sages have been saying. Be kind to each other, be kind to the planet. Honor, respect the sacred circle of life. It's not real complicated, and that is universal law, and they are bringing universal law back to the planet, through the grid system.
Well, thank you for that reminder and that sharing. And for those of you that have popped in here at the last minute, this is James Gilliland that's been sharing with you.
And go back and listen to the whole show.
It's all recorded. And James, thank you for spending this time with us and with
we
our
are
listeners.
Truly grateful for your presence today.
We wish you well and party on.
Totally.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, and be sure and let people know about the upcoming conferences. They can, if they want to get a whole list of what's happening here at the ranch, they can go to eStudyReservation@gmail.com, and they'll give you a list of ambassador trainings, conferences, and all the other things that are going on here.
All right.
Wonderful.
That's eStudyReservations@gmail.
Perfect. Well, guys, you know where to send that information, James, and please do. And, beloved ones, we just want to share with all of you that as we take in the gift and the blessing of being, we are at such a powerful time on the planet. And it is important for you to remember one thing. Your presence matters, beloved ones. Your presence matters. And yes, I love what James just said. It's time to pay attention, to slow down, pay attention, and trust your inner wisdom because you are being guided.
Absolutely. Do not judge your life by the circumstances that surround you. Instead, tune into the energy flowing through you. Mm-hmm. And that energy will guide you. That energy will indeed mend that which has been broken.
It's really the time to begin the era of cooperation instead of competition.
There we are.
There's room for everyone as long as we allow ourselves the gift of remembering that.
And as we come to a close for today, I invite each and every one of you to take a big breath in and know that all is truly well. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us at Shri and Kira Live. To have your questions answered, send us an email to guest@shriandkiraradio.com and check out more information at shriandkira.com. See you next week. Namaste.